As we mark 6 years since the 26/11 attacks, what we're about to watch over the next 30 minutes is video footage that's never been seen before, recorded by the National Security Guard's commandos from amidst the deadly operation against those Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists who held a nation to ransom for 3 full days and longer. Video footage of India's fight back taken by those who actually did the fighting and released to the India Today group for the first time. Over the next 30 minutes, you will see 26/11 the way they saw it. The journalist who's managed to access these dramatic videos and secrets so far is Sandeep Unithan of India Today, whose book on 26/11 is out as well. We start with Nariman House. Ground Zero, Nariman House. 15 hostages inside the Jewish Kabad house in a nightmarishly congested lane in Kolaba. As the National Security infiltrates, pictures seen for the first time here. A commando films the deadly operation from the outside.
You sort of contained it.
After a grueling night and with 9 hostages rescued, the NSG commandos regrouped to strategize. The 2 Lashkar terrorists inside still have 6 hostages. They plan their re-entry.
You saw your boys on the top.
तो मतलब जरूरत है सर इसका इसको फायर कर दो ठीक है
As night falls, the grueling operation ends. The 6 hostages couldn't be saved. And NSG Chief J.K. Datta speaks to his men, who've just lost a comrade, Havildar Gajendra Singh Bisht, in the fight.
की बॉडी यहाँ पे दिखती है पर यहाँ पे ना होस्टेज ना सिविलियन किसी के भी ऊपर हम लोगों का अभी काम पूरा होने में जरा सा समय और आप सबों को अपना धन्यवाद बताता हूँ और मैं ही नहीं और हम सब आपके आभारी हैं जिस तरह आपको ये जय हिंद।
For the first time in 6 years, video footage of Mumbai's Oberoi Trident just minutes after the terrorists inside had been killed. When I reported from outside the Trident on November the 27th, 2008, the clatter of assault rifle fire rang out frequently. It was one of the most difficult operations ever. The video you're about to watch is the first you'll ever see of the place where the hostage drama, the tense standoff, and the massacre took place. The tense crawl through a devastated hotel, the Oberoi Trident on Marine Drive. Nearly every surface devastated by grenade and gunfire. The terrifying cleanup of the weapons and the explosives the terrorists brought with them from Pakistan. In a hotel where 32 hostages had just been slaughtered, nothing could be left to chance. Was it possible that the Pakistanis left traps? "32 people were slaughtered inside the Oberoi Trident. When NSG commandos swept through the hotel, they found a location completely laid to waste in the destructive operation that spared nothing." This is the video in the lobby of that famous hotel, literally minutes from the time the terrorists who held it hostage had breathed their last. Terrifying images that greeted rescuers as they first made their way into the Oberoi lobby. Blood everywhere, offsetting the luxurious, devastated interiors of the deluxe hotel. But the location that came to be the face of 26/11, and with good reason, was the iconic Taj. The images you're about to watch, recorded during the anti-terror operation, provide the most shattering, unprecedented first-hand view of what went on inside the hotel, the destruction that was wrought, and what finally happened. And perhaps the most disturbing images never seen before of what the 26/11 terrorists did to the proud Taj of Apollo Bandar. Jarred, devastated, these images, filmed just minutes after its legacy interiors had been laid to waste by 3 Pakistanis. The remains of one terrorist and his weapon, an assault rifle, one of only 3 who slaughtered 31 people inside the Taj. Those are images that have been secret for the last 6 years. Nobody's ever seen them. They were recorded by an NSG commando himself. The book I'm holding in my hand right now, Black Tornado, by my colleague and India Today Group Deputy Editor Sandeep Unithan, details in perhaps greater detail than ever before precisely what this anti-terror operation was really all about. He describes it as India's first hybrid terrorist attack. Sandeep is with me here in the studio. It's a privilege to have him. Sandeep, first of all, congratulations on your book. It's going to provide a great deal of insight and interest into an operation that continues to mystify people across the country and perhaps across the world. But in the writing of this book and in the time that you access these videos, Sandeep, what is fresh about these videos in the sense, what does it tell us? What does it really show us that we haven't really seen or known before? Because this is the first time we're seeing videos shot by the people who actually did the fighting.
Shiv, there are 2 views of the 26/11 operation. Most of us for the last 6 years have seen the attacks from the outside as spectators. These videos for the first time take us inside the 3 locations. They actually uncover the full extent of the damage that the terrorists wrought at all the 3 locations. It tells you about the planning that went into choosing each of their locations. If you look at it, the Nariman house, the 4th floor was chosen because it was secure, it was away from the roof. That was a place where the terrorists could hide and fight the commandos. The Harbour Bar at the Taj Hotel was chosen because, again, it was like a bunker. It was very, very heavily guarded by thick stone walls. And at the Oberoi, it was a very specifically chosen room so that the terrorists could fight back at the commandos without giving their location away.
Sandeep, one of the things that's always, going to remain in people's memories is that this was an operation that stretched over a few days and that it was just a handful of terrorists who, kept so many people hostage, brought an entire, security administration, to attention to actually deal with this entire situation. These fresh videos that we have right now that we're putting out for the first time here on Headlines Today, and many of those operations detailed like never before, in your brand new book. Can you tell us if lessons have been learnt, in the viewing of these videos, because these videos have been filmed for a purpose, obviously, by the people who actually led these operations. Have any lessons been learned?
Shiv, unfortunately, I don't think many lessons have been learned because, as you know, after the Kargil war, you had a Kargil Review Committee report that went into the nuts and bolts of that operation, what exactly went wrong. The systemic failure was explained in very, very minute detail and a roadmap was laid out that what needed to be done.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in the 26/11 attacks, there has been no such central effort to pin the blame down. I mean, all they said was that there was a systemic failure and they left it at that. The only report that we had was the Ram Pradhan Committee report that was set up by the Maharashtra state government, which examined only the Mumbai police's failings.
Yes.
I mean, it was like the 26/11 attack was solely the responsibility of the Mumbai police alone. And the tragedy is that it's been 6 years and we might actually never know what exactly went wrong there and who the guilty were to, I mean, what were the exact systemic faults that allowed such a operation, that allowed such a terrorist outrage to stretch out for 60 hours.
I think 6 years since the 26/11 operation, that's about the scariest thing I've ever heard, that we're still to actually pin accountability and blame for what it was. It's not something broad as a systemic failure. Where was the accountability? Where were the lapses? Who was really to blame? Who were the many people who were possibly to blame for what happened there and all those lives actually being lost? We're going to take a quick break here on this special broadcast. When we return, the place where Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan actually lost his life leading one of the bravest anti-terror operations inside the Taj Hotel. And finally, for the first time ever, the precise location inside the Taj where Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan of the NSG made the supreme sacrifice 6 years ago, trying to rescue an injured NSG comrade from enemy fire. The officer who died leading the operation that finally brought the 26/11 terror attack to a close. You've heard about Major Unnikurishnan's unimaginable courage in the face of Pakistani terrorists, with tactical odds totally in their favor. Now watch precisely where it actually played out 6 years ago. Operation Black Tornado, the fight to take back the Taj, filmed by a commando who was part of the counter-terror squad itself. An unprecedented view of India's fight back from the men who did the fighting. It was here that Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan had perished. And what nobody ever saw, the commando canines that made sure that no terrorist was left.
Good dog, shabash. Good dog, shabash. आगे जाओ, ऐसे बोलना. हम दोनों भी आगे नहीं जाते. वापस, इधर वापस. और चल.
300 people rescued, but as these first ever images show, the fear was endless and unstoppable. And finally, this unforgettable image of the morning of November the 29th, 2008. The warriors who fought and won finally get to rest. One of the most iconic images and iconic persons from 26/11 is Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, the brave NSG officer who made the supreme sacrifice. Sandeep Unithan, who's come out with his book and accessed these videos, is still with us. Sandeep, this is for the first time in these videos that we're actually seeing the location where Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan made the supreme sacrifice.
Absolutely, Shiv. Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan was not an ordinary officer. In the course of my research, I discovered that he was not only the most popular officer of the 51 Special Action Group, which you saw in action at the Taj, but he was also the glue that held this unit together. I mean, he was the most popular officer there. He was the person you turn to for parties. And at the same time, he was the training officer, which meant that he was the most feared officer on campus. And he was absolutely unsparing. He would treat all his friends and his colleagues alike. He never showed anyone any favors, but he was the, as they say, yaron ke yar. And the NSG did not come to terms with his death. So what you actually see here is some of the officers trying to actually recreate the path that he took, the last path that he took as he dashed into the place where the terrorists were hiding. I mean, this is a question that has been asked over and over and over again, that did he actually have to leave his comrades behind? I mean, he saved one of his injured comrades, and then he ensured he got medical aid, and then he dashed after the terrorists. Did he actually have to do that? I mean, this is a question that we'll never know the answer to. But this video that you actually see is of that trooper rushing up and showing you where exactly the second terrorist was hidden. Major Unnikrishnan was running in search of one terrorist. He did not see the person on the left. They had a firefight. Unfortunately, the terrorist shot him and left him for dead.
And this is a video that depicts that particular area for the first time, the most amazing, the most unforgettable part perhaps of an operation that at large should be unforgettable. But as we mark 6 years, this video, this book by Sandeep Unnikrishnan, Sandeep Unithan, I beg your pardon, and all the details that are coming out about what happened 6 years ago in Mumbai is something that should occupy all of us as a people and all of us as a nation. Sandeep, thanks very much for joining us on this special broadcast, and we will continue to bring you many more details about these videos.